the ability to know the difference between LLCs, LPs. For example, the SBF and FTX debacle. The amount of open source research that went into that company and that person within 72 hours of it crashing was astonishing. I was just tracking Twitter, and within a couple hours, you had every political donation he made. All these talks that he appeared on in 2019 and 2020, all of the trips that not all of them, but a lot of the trips he took, who he's talking with, who his parents are connected to at Stanford. So that is very inspiring to me as somebody who is a researcher at heart, and that's why Whitney and I get along. As somebody who's a digger at heart, I think that this laptop is just a gold mine. Yes, I've gone through every single email, but I was just looking for the crimes. There's a lot that you can do just going through these emails to find the fruits of other crimes that don't directly relate to the Bidens, but directly relate to their associates. So, everybody has access to the internet, mostly in America. Everybody can look up who the beneficial owners of a company are, except if you're in Delaware, because they don't list it. And everybody should know what the financial holding picture is of their elected officials. That's, I think, the takeaway is to have a greater level of granularity about the people that rule you. I hope that that's one of the takeaways. And to just document the human comedy of it all. Have you ever read the book Bonfire of the Vanities?
I have not.
By Tom Wolfe. He wrote other books called A Man in Full, I Am Charlotte Simmons, Back to Blood. He was a novelist. He's dead now. He died in 2018. But this report and the content on this laptop is sort of like a Tom Wolfe novel. Like, his goal was, he always said that he wanted the full panoramic picture of the United States. And that's what we've tried to do with this dossier, is put the full panoramic picture of the U.S. first family. So you're not just getting one-off articles. Like, we put whole family trees in here. Nobody had even done like a true family tree. There's actually 2 unacknowledged girls in the Biden family. Everybody knows about Hunter's love child, right? That he was forced to start paying child support for. Mm-hmm. But there's actually another unacknowledged girl. It's the daughter of Joe's younger brother, Frankie. She's not even listed in obituaries. We had to go through, basically, Frankie listed her on one bio of his, and all the info we had was that her name was Megan, and she was a nurse practitioner in Virginia. And so we looked at the HHS government database to look at all the nurse practitioners named Megan in Virginia. There's 76, and we went through each one of them and finally found her. Her name is Megan Jester Walker. And so the point that I'm trying to get at is, the U.S. First Family has 2 like secret girls in their family, and Nobody thinks that this is like incredible. I'm not saying it's the most important story in the world. What I'm saying, though, is that it's an incredible carnival.
River's the best place to buy Bitcoin. Go to river.com/TFTC, sign up today, set up an account, and start stacking sats. Back to
I've ever had that in American history where you have a family with 2 people that they won't even list in obituaries. They don't. There was a big funny controversy that they wouldn't give a White House stocking to Hunter's daughter. So even though they have 9 grandchildren, like Joe to this day in public says he only has 8. Mm-hmm. It's like Genghis Khan stuff where they don't even know all their kids.
Yeah, and it's like, would you describe? That's the other. There's like always the big debate, particularly in the Bitcoin world, like talking about like WEF, political elites, intelligence apparatus. Like, are these people criminal masterminds, or are they just purely evil, and just want to brute force their view of the world on the populace?
I don't think the Bidens are the driving force. I think the Bidens are whoring themselves out. I think that the people like Larry Fink and all the Finks of the world and Klaus Schwab, I think they have 30 IQ points on the Bidens. And Joe is their perfect guy because he's being used as a vessel for them. So you mentioned Hunter's a conduit for Joe, but Joe is a conduit for all these other people. Mm-hmm. And so what our report goes into is not the BlackRock and Vanguards of the world, although that is ripe for a dossier, but our report is on the vessels that the BlackRock and Vanguards use, the coordinators that they use. And Joe, again, he's been in public office since he was 29 years old. He won the U.S. Senate when he was 29, got sworn in 3 months after he was 30, and he's been at this for over 50 years. He just turned 80 last November. So we have an 80-year-old president. One thing I wanted to mention on this show is that and one thing I want to talk to you about is we live in a gerontocracy, man. We have people who won't get off the stage. Like
know.
Tom Brady, he's ruining his legacy right now because he's becoming the Brett Favre. He can't retire. Like he doesn't know when to leave the stage. He can't. It's like The Ring in the Tolkien novel. Like it's his precious, and I think that's very sad. Just like we have U.S. senators that are like 88. Do you really believe that they're gonna know what to do about digital currencies and all this stuff? They don't have a clue.
No, I mean, you had Yellen, who's not even like technically a politician. She's
Yeah, I'm gonna see how.
Secretary of the Treasury. She was
Yes.
up there. She couldn't even.
She's 77. She's 76.
Yeah, and she couldn't even explain like the banking system, or couldn't logically convince people that the measures they're putting in place in the aftermath of
Yeah.
the Silicon Valley Bank failing. Like she couldn't even induce confidence that like people wouldn't just leave regional banks for the big banks.
I was watching that interaction last night with James Lankford from Oklahoma.
Yes,
he's
yes.
like what's stopping them from big depositors from taking their money out?
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, this isn't just a youthful men bitching about old guys. These are people who are beyond their prime, though. I don't think the human mind at 86,
At 77.
is typically, there's exceptions to every single rule. Just like how most stereotypes have truth to them, there's also people who defy stereotypes. Like, I'm German, but I don't wear socks with sandals, right? There are people who stick out of the box. So take what I'm saying, not you, but figurative you. There are exceptions to this rule, but in general, like 85-year-olds are not going to have the mental dexterity to lead a republic with 330 million people plus all the illegal immigrants. So I don't think that we are ruled by a gerontocracy.
Yeah, and it's particularly alarming considering, I mean, I'm into Bitcoin. I focus on Bitcoin because I do truly believe that.
Does that automatically update?
Yes, I do truly believe that the incumbent financial system is standing on a base of quicksand that is quickly eroding beneath it. And going back to Yellen's comments yesterday, the day before, it's like these people are not equipped to usher in the next era of monetary policy or the monetary system that we're going to need to build. They would like to push us into the CBDC future. I think Bitcoin, which perfectly preserves private property rights, freedom of speech, and freedom of association, is the way to go. And the people, the gerontocracy in charge, simply, like you said, does not have the mental dexterity or the context of the digital world to even understand this.
They're living in an analog world. We actually, the first guy to get this material was Rudy, and I respect Rudy's patriotism, but nevertheless, we call him technically deficient in the report. Dude, he can't operate like a basic iPhone. Like when he was going on television in October of 2020 talking about the contents of this, he would like print out a very grainy, low resolution screenshot and then hold it up to the camera, right? Like he didn't send the Newsmax producers a high resolution screenshot of that which he was talking about. It's like, dude, if you yourself don't, there's a lot I don't know how to do, but I try to surround myself with people who know how to do stuff. So if I'm doing an interview with Newsmax and I'm talking about one particular text message from the Biden laptop, I'm not going to print it out on a Canon printer and hold it up to the camera. I'm going to send it to their producer so they can put it up on the Chiron, right? So basic things like that.